The Krillian Empire had existed for over 3,000 years. They controlled hundreds of star systems across their section of the galaxy. Their military was strong, their technology advanced, and their rule was absolute. They had a simple policy when it came to new civilizations: destroy them before they become a problem. When their deep space sensors picked up radio waves coming from a small blue planet orbiting a yellow star, the Krillian High Command gathered to discuss the threat. The planet was called Earth by its inhabitants. The humans living there had just begun sending signals into space, which meant they were developing technology. In another few hundred years, they might become advanced enough to challenge Krillian power. The decision was made quickly. They would send a gravitational implosion bomb. This weapon was designed to collapse a planet's core from the inside, destroying everything in hours. It was clean, efficient, and had worked on 17 other emerging civilizations before. The bomb was loaded onto an unmanned vessel and launched toward Earth. It would travel at nearly the speed of light, taking 40 years to reach its target. By the time it arrived, the humans would be more advanced, but not advanced enough to stop it, or so the Krillians believed. 40 years passed. The Krillians forgot about the small blue planet and the weapon they had sent. They had other concerns, other potential threats to eliminate, other systems to control. But Earth had not forgotten. 20 years after the bomb was launched, human satellites detected something unusual. An object was approaching from deep space, moving at incredible speed. At first, scientists thought it might be an asteroid or comet, but as they studied it more carefully, they realized it was something else entirely. It was artificial. It was a machine, and it was headed directly for Earth. Dr. Rebecca Foster was the first to understand what they were looking at. She was an astrophysicist working at the International Space Observation Center. When she saw the energy readings coming from the object, her blood ran cold. This was not a probe or a satellite. This was a weapon. She immediately contacted every space agency on Earth. Within days, every government knew the truth. Something or someone had sent a bomb to destroy their planet. It would arrive in 20 years. The news sent shockwaves across Earth. Some people panicked, some prayed, some demanded that world leaders do something. But what could they do? Humanity had barely begun exploring their own solar system. They had no weapons that could reach deep space. They had no shields that could protect an entire planet. But they had something else. They had time. 20 years to prepare, 20 years to learn, 20 years to do what humans do best: adapt and overcome. The nations of Earth did something unprecedented. They stopped fighting each other. Old enemies became allies. Resources were pooled. Scientists from every country began working together. The mission was simple: intercept the bomb before it reached Earth, study it, and find a way to stop it. A new space program was created called the Planetary Defense Initiative. Billions of dollars poured into the project. Rockets were built faster and better than ever before. New propulsion systems were invented. Humanity pushed the limits of their technology further than anyone thought possible. Commander David Park was chosen to lead the intercept mission. He was a veteran pilot and engineer, known for staying calm under pressure. He assembled a team of the best scientists and engineers Earth had to offer. Dr. Foster was among them, along with weapons expert Lieutenant James Torres and systems analyst Dr. Yuki Tanaka. The ship they built was called the Interceptor. It was designed for one purpose: reach the bomb before it reached Earth. The ship launched 15 years after the bomb was first detected, giving them 5 years to catch up to the weapon. The journey through space was long and tense. The crew knew that if they failed, Earth would die. Every calculation had to be perfect. Every system had to work flawlessly. There was no room for error. Finally, after months of travel, they caught up to the bomb. It was enormous, easily the size of a large building. Strange symbols covered its surface. Energy readings showed it was still active, still counting down to its detonation time. The crew suited up and went outside to examine the weapon. Dr. Foster ran her scanners over every inch of it. What she found amazed her. The technology was centuries ahead of anything humans had created. The energy systems, the materials, the quantum triggers, all of it was beyond their understanding. Lieutenant Torres wanted to disarm it immediately, but Dr. Tanaka had a different idea. "This is a gift," she said over the radio. "Not the gift they intended, but a gift nonetheless. This bomb is a window into technology we would take hundreds of years to develop on our own." Commander Park made the decision. They would not destroy the bomb. They would study it. They carefully deactivated the detonation sequence, then used the interceptor's cargo bay to secure the weapon. It took 3 days of careful work, but they managed to do it. The bomb was brought back to Earth and taken to a secret facility built deep underground. For the next 5 years, teams of scientists worked around the clock to understand how it functioned. They reverse-engineered every component. They learned about exotic matter and quantum field manipulation. They discovered principles of physics that opened up entirely new areas of science. But they did more than just study it. They improved it. Human engineers found ways to make the systems more efficient. They discovered how to modify the weapon's core function. Instead of a gravitational implosion, they reconfigured it to release a targeted electromagnetic pulse that could disable technology without destroying it. Dr. Foster stood in the control room 5 years after the bomb had been captured. Around her, technicians prepared the weapon for launch. They were sending it back to whoever had sent it to them. But this time, it carried a message. "Are we really doing this?" Lieutenant Torres asked. He had stayed on Earth to help with the reverse engineering project. "Yes," Dr. Foster replied. "They tried to kill us without ever speaking to us. They need to understand that was a mistake." The modified bomb was loaded onto a ship and launched back along its original trajectory. Attached to it was a simple message in mathematical language that any advanced civilization could understand. "Thank you for the gift. We have made some improvements. Perhaps we should talk?" Commander Park watched from mission control as the weapon disappeared into deep space. "How long until it reaches them?" he asked. 40 years, Dr. Foster said. "The same amount of time they gave us." "Do you think they'll understand the message?" Torres asked. Park smiled slightly. "They'll understand. We just returned their own bomb to them, upgraded and deadly, but we didn't detonate it. We gave them the same choice they never gave us: talk or face the consequences." As the weapon traveled through the darkness of space, Earth continued to advance. The technology they had learned from the bomb had pushed humanity forward by centuries. New ships were being built. New weapons were being designed. New defensive systems were being installed around the planet. The Krillians had sent Earth a bomb to destroy them, but they had accidentally done something far more dangerous. They had given humanity the keys to advanced technology and 40 years to master it. They had united Earth's people against a common threat. They had shown humans that they were not alone in the universe and that the universe was hostile. Now, 40 years later, the Krillians were about to learn what happens when you try to destroy humanity. They were about to discover that the bomb they sent had created the very thing they feared most: a species that was angry, advanced, and unwilling to be victims. The weapon flew through space, carrying both a message and a warning. Earth was no longer helpless, and they were coming to make sure the Krillians understood that. The Krillian tracking station on the edge of their home system was staffed by 3 operators. It was a boring assignment. Nothing ever happened this far from the core worlds. The operators spent most of their time playing games and drinking bitter Krillian tea while their computers monitored the empty space around them. Station Commander Varel was reviewing supply requests when the alarm went off. At first, he thought it was a malfunction. The alarm system was old and often gave false readings. But when he looked at the display screen, his blood went cold. Something was approaching their system at nearly the speed of light. The computer was trying to identify it, running through every known ship signature in the Krillian database. After a few seconds, it found a match. The match made no sense. "This cannot be right," Varel said, staring at the screen. His 2 subordinates came over to look. "It says this is one of our gravitational implosion devices," one of them said. "But that is impossible. Those only travel one direction." "Which planet was this one sent to?" Varel asked, pulling up the historical records. The computer searched through decades of data. Finally, it displayed the answer: Earth, human homeworld. Bomb dispatched 40 standard years ago. Expected detonation occurred on schedule. "But if it detonated, how is it coming back?" the third operator asked. Varel felt fear rising in his chest. There was only one explanation. The bomb had not detonated. Somehow the humans had stopped it, and now they were sending it back. He immediately sent an emergency transmission to the High Command on the Krillian homeworld. Then he watched helplessly as the weapon drew closer. There was nothing his small station could do to stop it. The bomb was moving too fast and was too close. On the Krillian homeworld, High Command received the warning with disbelief. Fleet Admiral Zane reviewed the data 3 times before he accepted what he was seeing. The humans had not only survived their weapon, they had somehow captured it and sent it back. "How much time do we have?" he demanded. "Less than 6 hours until it enters our system," an aide reported. "Based on its trajectory, it will detonate near our military shipyards." Zane immediately ordered every available ship to intercept the weapon. 20 warships changed course and raced toward the incoming bomb, but they were too far away. Even at maximum speed, they would not arrive in time. The Krillian leadership gathered in their war room, deep beneath the capital city. They had faced rebellions before. They had fought other civilizations, but they had always been the ones attacking. They had never been on the defensive against a weapon of their own design. "Can we evacuate the shipyards?" someone asked. "Not in 6 hours. We have 50,000 workers there." "What about planetary shields?" "They are designed to stop missiles and energy weapons, not gravitational implosion devices. Our own weapon was made to bypass such defenses." The room fell silent. They had created the perfect weapon, one that could destroy any target without warning. Now that weapon was being used against them, and they had no defense. Counselor Mara, the oldest member of the High Command, spoke quietly. "Perhaps this is justice. We sent death to them without warning, without negotiation, without mercy. Now they return our gift to us." "We should surrender," someone suggested. "Contact them and offer terms." "We do not even know how to contact them," Zane replied. "And it is too late regardless. The weapon will arrive in 4 hours." Across the Krillian homeworld, emergency broadcasts went out. People were told to seek shelter in underground bunkers. The military went to high alert. Hospitals prepared for mass casualties. Everyone waited for the explosion that would kill millions. The bomb entered the Krillian system exactly on schedule. Tracking stations followed its progress as it flew past outer planets, past moons, past defensive satellites that were powerless to stop it. It was heading directly for the largest concentration of military installations in the system. Then something unexpected happened. The bomb slowed down. It decelerated from near light speed to a relative stop in space near the shipyards. Every sensor in the system focused on it. The Krillians watched and waited for the detonation. But it did not explode. Instead, the weapon activated, but not the way it was designed to. The gravitational implosion system stayed offline. Instead, a different system powered up, one that had not been part of the original design. A pulse of electromagnetic energy erupted from the bomb. It spread out in all directions at the speed of light. When it hit the military installations, every electronic system shut down instantly. Warships went dark and drifted in space. Communication arrays stopped broadcasting. Defense platforms lost power. Weapons systems failed. But the pulse was precisely calibrated. It only affected military technology. Civilian systems flickered but stayed online. Life support systems in the shipyards continued working. The cities on the planets below lost nothing critical. The humans had modified the bomb to disable but not destroy. In the silence that followed, a new transmission reached the Krillian homeworld. It came from a probe that appeared out of nowhere. using a jump drive technology the Krillians had only theorized about but never successfully built. The message was simple and translated into perfect Krillian language. We received your weapon 40 years ago. You sent it to destroy our world without warning, without communication, without giving us any chance to respond peacefully. We have learned much from studying your technology. We have also learned that you do this to every new civilization you discover. You rule through fear and preemptive violence. We are returning your weapon to show you three things. First, your technology is no longer superior to ours. Second, we could have destroyed you the same way you tried to destroy us, but we chose not to. Third, we are coming to speak with you face to face. A diplomatic ship will arrive at your homeworld in 3 months. We do not come as conquerors. We do not come seeking revenge. We come to ensure that what you tried to do to us never happens to anyone else. You have 3 months to restore your systems and consider your response. We hope you choose peace. But make no mistake, if you choose war, you will lose. Humanity sends its regards. The message ended. The probe jumped away before the Krillians could respond or capture it. All across their home system, military leaders and politicians stared at their screens in shock. Admiral Zane sat back in his chair, his mind racing. 50,000 workers in the shipyards were alive because the humans had shown mercy. The Krillians would not have done the same. If their positions were reversed, Earth would be a dead world right now, and the Krillians would not have lost a moment of sleep over it. They had us helpless, Counselor Mara said quietly. They could have killed billions. Instead, they sent a message. What kind of species shows mercy to someone who tried to exterminate them? Another counselor asked. A dangerous one, Zane replied, because mercy requires strength. They are showing us that they are strong enough to destroy us and disciplined enough not to. That is far more terrifying than simple violence. Over the next 3 months, the Krillian Empire worked frantically to restore their military systems and prepare for the arrival of the human ship. Some leaders argued for gathering the fleet and attacking the humans the moment they arrived. Others insisted on negotiation. The debate raged until intelligence reports started coming in from their spies and long-range sensors. What they learned made the decision for them. In the 40 years since the bomb was sent, Earth had not just survived, they had thrived. Their ships now use quantum jump drives. Their communication systems operated on principles the Krillians did not understand. Their AI was more advanced, their weapons more powerful. Their industrial capacity had grown exponentially. The bomb had not just failed to destroy humanity, it had accelerated their development by centuries. It had unified their fractured world. It had given them a common enemy and a common purpose. The Krillians had accidentally created a civilization that could challenge them. Worse, intelligence suggested that Earth had not kept their new technology secret. They had begun sharing some of it with other civilizations that the Krillians had previously dominated. Species that had been forced into the Empire were now quietly developing weapons and defenses that could threaten Krillian control. We are losing our grip on the Empire, Admiral Zane reported to the High Command. At least 6 subjugated species are showing signs of rebellion. They are being supplied with human technology. Then we must strike now, a hardliner argued. We must destroy Earth before they make us completely obsolete. With what? Counselor Mara asked. They disabled our entire home fleet with one weapon. They have jump drives we cannot match. They have 40 years of technological advancement we gave them by sending that bomb. If we attack them, we will lose. The room fell silent. For 3,000 years, the Krillian Empire had been built on the certainty of military superiority. Now, for the first time, they faced an opponent they could not defeat. 3 months after the bomb arrived, a human ship appeared at the edge of the Krillian home system. It did not sneak in. It did not hide. It simply arrived openly and broadcast a simple message. We come in peace to discuss terms. Please direct us to your homeworld. The ship was called the Olive Branch. It was smaller than Krillian warships, but moved with perfect precision. Long-range scans showed it had weapons, but they were not charging. It had shields, but they were set to minimal power. Everything about the ship suggested that the humans were serious about talking. But the scans also showed something else. The ship's energy signature was unlike anything the Krillians had seen. Its power generation was off the charts. Its hull was made from materials that scanners could barely penetrate. This was not a diplomatic vessel. This was a warship pretending to be a diplomat. Admiral Zane gave the order to let them through. A squadron of 20 Krillian warships formed an escort around the human ship. It was meant to be a show of force, a reminder that the Krillians were still powerful. But as the ships flew together toward the homeworld, something became very clear. The human ship could have destroyed all 20 escorts in seconds if it wanted to. The escorts were not guards. They were witnesses. The humans had come to talk, but they had come from a position of absolute strength. The Krillians had learned what happens when you send a bomb to destroy someone without talking first. Now they would learn what happens when you are forced to talk to someone you cannot destroy. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Olive Branch and watched the Krillian homeworld grow larger on the main screen. She had trained for this moment for 5 years, studying Krillian culture, learning their language, understanding their history. But training could only prepare someone so much. This was humanity's first contact with an alien civilization, and that civilization had tried to murder everyone on Earth. 20 escort ships holding position around us, reported Navigation Officer Kim. They have weapons locked on us but have not charged them. They are scared, said Dr. James Okonkwo from his station. He was the mission's chief scientist and had spent years studying the Krillian bomb. Their sensors can probably tell them that our ship is more advanced than anything they have. Let's not get overconfident, Sarah warned. Scared people make dangerous decisions. The journey to Krillian space had taken 3 months, even with the new jump drives. During that time, the crew had faced 6 separate attacks. 3 from Krillian military ships that went rogue and decided to attack without orders. 2 from automated defense systems. 1 from a species that the Krillians had subjugated years ago, who mistook the human ship for a Krillian vessel. Each attack had failed. The olive branch's shields adapted to every weapon fired at it. Its navigation systems predicted ambushes before they happened. Its AI countermeasures disabled enemy targeting computers before missiles could launch. The ship had not needed to fire a single weapon in response. It simply made itself impossible to hit. "I still think we should have brought more ships," said Security Chief Jennifer Walsh. She was a former military officer who did not like the idea of flying alone into enemy territory. "One ship sends the message we want," Sarah replied. "We are not here to invade. We are here to talk. But one ship that cannot be stopped sends a different message than a fleet." "It says we do not need a fleet," Dr. Okonkwo added with a slight smile. The Krillian homeworld was called Krillos. It was larger than Earth, with deep blue oceans and red continents. Cities covered much of the land, connected by transportation networks that glowed in the darkness. Orbital stations and shipyards surrounded the planet like a metal ring. It was impressive, Sarah had to admit. The Krillians had built an advanced civilization. They had also tried to prevent humanity from doing the same. "We are receiving landing coordinates," Kim reported. "They want us to land at their capital city." "Any signs of weapons targeting us?" "Hundreds," Walsh said. "Ground-based defense cannons, orbital platforms, even some of those escort ships have powered-up targeting systems, but none of them are firing." "They are trying to intimidate us," Dr. Okonkwo observed, "showing us that they could shoot us down if they wanted to." Sarah nodded. "Let them think what they want. Helm, take us down." The olive branch descended through Krillos' atmosphere. The planet's air was similar to Earth's, breathable for humans with only minor adjustments. The ship landed in a massive plaza in the center of the capital city. Thousands of Krillian soldiers surrounded the landing site, along with what looked like news crews and cameras. They are broadcasting this to their entire planet, Kim reported. Probably to their whole empire. Good, Sarah said. We want everyone to see this. The delegation consisted of 5 people. Captain Sarah Chen as the leader, Dr. James Okonkwo as the scientific expert, Commander Lisa Rodriguez as the military representative, Ambassador Peter Zhao as the diplomatic specialist, and Dr. Yuki Tanaka as the technology advisor. They wore simple uniforms with Earth's flag on the shoulder. No armor, no visible weapons. But each of them had a personal shield generator that could stop any known weapon. The technology had been developed from studying the Krillian bomb. As the airlock opened, Sarah took a deep breath. Remember, we are not here to start a war. We are here to prevent future wars. Stay calm, stay professional, and follow my lead. The humans walked down the ramp and onto Krillian soil. The gravity was slightly heavier than Earth's, but not enough to be uncomfortable. The air smelled strange, like copper and something sweet. A group of Krillians waited for them. The Krillians were tall, nearly 7 feet on average, with gray skin and large black eyes. They wore elaborate robes in dark colors. The leader of the group was identified by intelligence as Counselor Mara, one of the oldest members of the Krillian High Command. Counselor Mara stepped forward. She moved slowly, studying the humans carefully. When she spoke, a translation device on her belt converted her words into English. "Welcome to Krillos," she said. Her voice was deep and resonant. "I am Counselor Mara. On behalf of the High Command, I greet you." Sarah bowed slightly, a gesture of respect. "Thank you, Counselor. I am Captain Sarah Chen, representing humanity and Earth. We appreciate your willingness to meet with us." "We did not have much choice," Mara replied. There was no hostility in her voice, just a statement of fact. "No," Sarah agreed. "You did not. Just as we did not have a choice when you sent a weapon to destroy our world." The words hung in the air. Around them, Krillian soldiers shifted uncomfortably. This conversation was being broadcast across the Empire. Sarah was making sure everyone knew what the Krillians had done. "That decision was made 40 years ago by leaders who are no longer in power," Mara said carefully. "But the policy remains," Dr. Okonkwo interjected. "You still send bombs to emerging civilizations. We have detected at least 3 other weapons launched in the past 20 years. How many species have you destroyed?" Mara did not answer. The silence was answer enough. "We are not here to judge your past," Sarah continued. "We are here to discuss your future. Please, take us to your high command. We have much to discuss." The humans were led through the capital city. Crowds of Krillians lined the streets, watching in silence. Some looked curious, others looked angry. Many looked afraid. For 3,000 years, the Krillians had been the dominant power in this region of space. Now, visitors from a planet they tried to destroy were walking through their capital like equals. No, not like equals, like superiors. The High Command Chamber was designed to intimidate. It was a vast circular room with the council members seated on high platforms around the edge, looking down at visitors who stood in the center. Lighting was kept deliberately dim, making the council members look like shadows, judging from above. The 5 humans walked to the center of the room without hesitation. They looked up at the council without fear. Admiral Zane, the military leader of the Krillians, spoke first. "You sent us a message saying you wanted to talk. We are here. Talk." "Thank you, Admiral," Sarah replied. "Let me start with a simple question. Why did you try to destroy Earth?" "You were developing technology," Zane replied. "In time, you would have become a threat to our security. So you destroy anyone who might challenge you?" "We destroy anyone who will challenge us. It is a matter of certainty. All species follow the same pattern. They develop technology, they expand into space, they compete for resources, they go to war. We simply end the process before it begins." "And how many species have you ended?" Commander Rodriguez asked. Zane hesitated, then answered. 23 civilizations have been eliminated before they could threaten the Empire. The number hung in the air. 23 entire species, millions or billions of lives, erased before they ever had a chance to reach the stars. You have committed genocide 23 times, Ambassador Zhao said quietly, and you would have made us the 24th. It is survival, another council member argued. The galaxy is hostile, resources are limited, only the strong survive. That is not survival, Dr. Tanaka replied. That is paranoia. You kill out of fear, not necessity. Easy to say when you were the ones who survived, Zane shot back. If we had not sent that weapon, what would you have done? Would you have been peaceful neighbors? Or would you have eventually come to take what we have? Sarah smiled slightly. We are here, Admiral. Your weapon failed. We have technology superior to yours. We have weapons that could destroy your entire civilization. And yet, we came to talk. That should answer your question. The council chamber fell silent. They could not argue with the facts. Earth had the advantage now. If humanity wanted revenge, they could take it. Instead, they sent diplomats. Why did you come? Counselor Mara asked. What do you want from us? We want to make sure you never send another bomb to anyone else, Sarah replied. We want the 23 species you destroyed to be the last. We want to change the equation in this region of space. You want us to surrender our security, Zane said. No, Dr. Okonkwo replied. We want you to understand that your security policy creates the threats you fear. You tried to destroy us, so we developed weapons to defend ourselves. Those weapons now threaten you. You created your own enemy. He activated a hologram projector. Images appeared in the center of the room, showing the 40 years of human development after the bomb was intercepted. Ship designs, weapons systems, shield technology, jump drives, all of it more advanced than anything the Krillians possessed. This is what you created, Dr. Okonkwo said. Your bomb was our teacher. You gave us the keys to advanced technology and 40 years to master it. You united our entire world against a common threat. You showed us that the galaxy is hostile. You made us exactly what you feared. More images appeared, showing human ships already spreading across nearby star systems, defensive platforms being built, alliances being formed with other species. But here is the important part, Dr. Okonkwo continued. We learn from your mistake. We are not destroying potential threats. We are building relationships with them. We are sharing some of our technology with species you subjugated. We are showing them that there is an alternative to your empire. You are destabilizing our entire region of space, a council member accused. No, Commander Rodriguez replied. We are giving species the freedom to choose. Some of them are choosing to leave your empire. That is not our fault. That is yours. Sarah stepped forward. We are not here to conquer you. We are not here to destroy you. We are here to offer you a choice. You can continue your current path, trying to maintain control through fear and violence. But you should know that path leads to your destruction. We will support any species that wants independence from you, and we will defend them if you attack. Or, Counselor Mara asked. Or you can change, Sarah replied. You can dismantle your policy of genocide. You can allow species to leave your empire peacefully. You can become partners instead of overlords. And in exchange, we will share some of our technology with you. We will guarantee your borders. We will help you transition from an empire built on fear to a coalition built on cooperation. Admiral Zane laughed bitterly. You want us to give up everything we have built in 3,000 years. We want you to give up a failed strategy, Dr. Tanaka replied. Your empire is already crumbling. We have detected at least 6 major species preparing for rebellion. They are using technology we provided to them. If you fight them all, you will lose. The only question is how many Krillians die before you accept that reality. The council members spoke among themselves in their own language, clearly not realizing that the humans' translation devices were picking up every word. Some wanted to refuse and fight. Others saw the logic in the human offer. All of them were afraid. Finally, Counselor Mara spoke. "You ask for much. We need time to consider your proposal." "Of course," Sarah replied. "We did not expect an answer today. We will remain on Krylos for as long as necessary to reach an agreement. But understand this, while you consider, the galaxy is watching. Every species you ever subjugated is waiting to see what you decide. Choose wisely." The humans were escorted to a secure facility where they would stay during the negotiations. As they walked through the corridors, Ambassador Zhao spoke quietly to Sarah. "Do you think they will accept?" Sarah glanced back at the High Command Chamber. "They will, because the alternative is losing everything. We gave them the same thing they tried to give us 40 years ago. No choice at all. The only difference is we are offering them a chance to survive." The negotiations dragged on for 3 days. The Krillian High Command was divided. Admiral Zane and the military faction wanted to reject the human demands and prepare for war. Counselor Mara and the moderate faction argued for accepting the terms. The hardliners insisted that the Empire could still win if they fought hard enough. On the morning of the 4th day, Captain Sarah Chen received a message. The High Command wanted another meeting, but this time they wanted to see proof. They wanted the humans to demonstrate exactly how superior their technology was. "They do not believe us," Dr. Okonkwo said as the team prepared for the meeting. "They think we are bluffing." "Some of them do," Sarah agreed. "Admiral Zane has convinced himself that our ship just got lucky in the fights we had on the way here. He thinks that in a real battle, Krillian numbers would win." "Should we give them a demonstration?" Commander Rodriguez asked. Sarah considered this carefully. "Yes, but we need to do it in a way that makes the point without causing unnecessary casualties. We are trying to build peace, not prove how good we are at killing." That afternoon, the human delegation returned to the High Command Chamber. This time, the room was filled with military officers and scientists. They wanted to see what humanity could do. Dr. Okonkwo stepped forward. He carried a small device that projected holographic images into the center of the vast room. "You asked for proof that human technology is superior. We are happy to provide it." The first image showed the Krillian bomb that had been sent to Earth 40 years ago. Every detail was visible, from the exterior panels to the internal mechanisms. "This is your gravitational implosion device," Dr. Okonkwo said. "It was an elegant piece of engineering. The quantum field generators were particularly impressive. When we first examined it, we estimated that Earth was at least 300 years away from developing something similar." He manipulated the hologram, zooming in on specific components. "But your design had flaws. The exotic matter containment system was inefficient, wasting almost 30% of the energy. The detonation sequence was too simple, making it vulnerable to interference. And the targeting system relied on calculations that could be disrupted by gravitational anomalies." Admiral Zane shifted uncomfortably in his seat. These were classified details about Krillian weapons technology. The humans should not have known them. "We did not just study your bomb," Dr. Okonkwo continued. "We improved it. We redesigned the containment system, increasing efficiency to 98%. We added adaptive shielding so it cannot be intercepted. We created a new detonation sequence that cannot be stopped once armed." The hologram changed, showing a modified version of the bomb. It looked similar to the original, but with clear improvements. "The weapon we returned to you was just a demonstration," Dr. Okonkwo said. "We changed its function to disable rather than destroy because we wanted to send a message. But we kept detailed records of how to make it lethal again. In fact, we have improved the design so much that our version is approximately 40 times more powerful than yours." Murmurs spread through the chamber. 40 times more powerful meant one bomb could destroy not just a planet, but an entire solar system. "But that is just one example," Dr. Okonkwo said. He changed the hologram again. This time it showed the Olive Branch, the ship that brought the humans to Krylos. "Your sensors have been scanning our ship since we arrived. You know it has weapons, but we have not powered them up. Would you like to see what they can do?" Admiral Zane leaned forward. "You wish to demonstrate your weapons here, in orbit of our homeworld?" "Nothing so aggressive," Sarah interjected smoothly. "We thought we would show you in a safe, controlled environment. Dr. Okonkwo, please continue." The scientist pulled up detailed schematics of the ship's weapons. "We have three main systems. First, directed energy weapons using coherent quantum beams. They can cut through any known shielding, including your best military-grade barriers. Second, kinetic projectiles accelerated to 0.99 the speed of light using gravity manipulation. Third, nanite swarms that can disable enemy systems without destroying them." He looked directly at Admiral Zane. "Your largest warships have approximately 12 weapons emplacements each. The Olive Branch has 64. Your ships require crews of 300. Ours operates with 5 people and an AI that is more intelligent than any computer system you have. Your ships can travel at faster than light speeds using your jump drives. Ours can jump 3 times farther and arrive with pinpoint accuracy." The hologram showed comparison charts. Every category showed human technology ahead by significant margins. Speed, weapons, shields, energy generation, AI capability, the gap was enormous. Dr. Yuki Tanaka stood up next. "But the most important advantage we have is not in weapons or ships. It is in manufacturing." She activated her own hologram, showing what looked like a factory in space. "After we captured your bomb, we realized that your technology relied on exotic materials that are rare and difficult to produce. It takes you months to build a single warship. Your entire empire can produce perhaps 50 ships per year." The hologram showed human facilities in the solar system around Earth. Massive orbital factories, asteroid mining operations, automated construction platforms. "We develop matter replication technology based on principles we learned from your bomb. We can convert raw materials into finished components in hours instead of months. Earth can now produce 500 warships per year, and that number increases every month as we build more factories." The Krillian military officers were clearly shaken. They had assumed that even if human ships were better, Krillian numbers would eventually win. But if humanity could outproduce them by 10 to 1, numbers would not matter. "You are trying to frighten us," one of the hardline council members accused. "No," Commander Rodriguez replied. She stood up, her military bearing clear. "We are trying to save your lives. Admiral Zane believes he can win a war through courage and determination. But wars are not won by bravery. They are won by logistics, technology, and mathematics. And all three of those factors favor humanity by overwhelming margins." She pulled up battle simulations. "We have run thousands of combat scenarios. In every single one where the Krillian Empire attacks Earth, the Empire loses. The only variables are how long it takes and how many Krillians die." The simulations played out on the hologram. Krillian fleets attacking, human defenses destroying them, counterattacks reaching Krillian systems. The numbers were brutal and unforgiving. "In the best-case scenario for you, where you commit your entire military to attacking Earth, you lose 70% of your fleet before we destroy your industrial capacity. At that point, all the subjugated species in your empire rebel simultaneously, and your empire collapses. Total Krillian casualties, approximately 2 billion. She let that number sink in. "In the worst case, we deploy weapons you cannot defend against, and casualties rise to 20 billion. That is half your total population." Ambassador Peter Zhao stood up. His role was to soften the blow of the military information with diplomatic options. "But that is only if you choose war. If you choose peace, the outcome is very different." He showed a different set of projections. "Under the terms we have offered, your empire transitions to a coalition. Species that wish to leave can do so peacefully. You maintain control over your core worlds, and any systems that wish to remain with you. You receive human technology that improves your quality of life, better medicine, more efficient energy systems, advanced AI. The projections showed Krillian society advancing, life expectancy increasing, resource scarcity decreasing, scientific achievements accelerating. In this scenario, no one dies. Your people prosper. You lose your empire but gain something more valuable. Security through partnership instead of fear. Counselor Mara spoke up. You paint a clear picture, but you are asking us to abandon 3,000 years of history, to admit that everything we built was wrong. Not wrong, Sarah replied gently, just outdated. 3,000 years ago, your strategy made sense. You were the most advanced species in your region. Destroying potential threats was logical when you were stronger than everyone else. She gestured at the hologram showing human technology. But the galaxy changes. New species develop. New technologies emerge. Your strategy worked until you met someone who could not be destroyed. Now you must adapt or become extinct. That is not an insult. That is simply reality. Admiral Zane stood up abruptly. You speak as if we have already lost. But we still have our fleet. We still have our weapons. We could hurt you, even if we cannot destroy you. Yes, Commander Rodriguez agreed calmly. You could hurt us. You could kill millions of humans before we stopped you. But then what? Do you think Earth would simply accept those losses and move on? No. If you force us into a real war, we will make sure your empire never threatens anyone again. She locked eyes with the Admiral. You tried to destroy us once. We responded with mercy and an offer of peace. If you try to destroy us again, we will respond with the total destruction of your military capability and the forced liberation of every species in your empire. We do not want that outcome, but we will not hesitate to implement it if you give us no choice. The chamber fell into heavy silence. The Krillian leadership had asked for a demonstration, and they had received one. The humans had shown their technological superiority with detailed evidence. They had run the numbers on every possible outcome. They had made it clear that resistance was not just futile, but suicidal. You have given us much to consider, Counselor Mara said finally. We will need time to discuss this among ourselves. Of course, Sarah replied. We understand this is not an easy decision. Take the time you need. But while you consider, remember this. We did not come here because we need you. We came here because we want to build a better future for everyone, including you. That future is available if you choose it. The human delegation left the chamber. As they walked back to their quarters, Dr. Okonkwo spoke quietly. Do you think it worked? It had to, Sarah replied. We showed them the stick, a very big, very threatening stick. Now they need to understand that we are also offering a carrot. And if they still choose to fight? Rodriguez asked. Sarah's expression hardened. Then we showed them exactly what will happen. We gave them every chance to avoid it. Their choice, their consequences. Back in the high command chamber, the Krillian leadership argued deep into the night. The hardliners insisted that accepting human terms was surrender. The moderates argued that refusing would be suicide. Admiral Zane wanted to find a third option, some way to maintain Krillian power. But Counselor Mara, the oldest and perhaps wisest of them, finally spoke the truth everyone else was avoiding. There is no third option. The humans have superior technology, superior production, superior strategy. They offered us a way to survive with dignity. If we refuse, they will take away even that choice. She looked around at her colleagues. We sent them a bomb to destroy their world. They sent it back as a message. They could have destroyed us but chose not to. That shows both power and restraint. Those are the traits of someone you can negotiate with, perhaps even trust. You want to trust them? Zane asked incredulously. I want to survive, Mara replied. And survival means accepting reality. The age of the Krillian Empire is ending, but the age of the Krillian people does not have to end with it. The debate continued, but slowly, inevitably, the moderates won. The mathematics were too clear. The technology gap was too large. The humans had proven their point. By dawn, the decision was made. The Krillian Empire would accept human terms and begin the process of transformation from empire to coalition. It was the end of an era. But perhaps, just perhaps, it was the beginning of something better. The announcement came 3 days after the demonstration. The Krillian High Command broadcast a message to every world in their empire. Counselor Mara stood before the cameras, her expression carefully controlled. Admiral Zane stood beside her, his face showing clear displeasure but also acceptance. People of the Krillian Empire, Mara began, for 3,000 years we have maintained order and security through strength. We have protected our civilization by eliminating threats before they could harm us. This policy has kept us safe and allowed us to prosper. She paused, choosing her words carefully. But the galaxy has changed. We recently encountered a species that we attempted to eliminate, as was our practice. That species, humanity, survived our weapon and has returned to our homeworld. Not with vengeance, but with an offer of peace. Across Krillos and throughout the Empire, billions watched and listened. Many had already seen the footage of humans walking through the capital. Rumors had spread about their advanced technology and impossible weapons. After careful consideration and extensive negotiations, the High Command has decided to accept humanity's proposal. The Krillian Empire will begin a transformation into the coalition of open stars. Any species that wishes to remain part of our civilization may do so as equal partners. Any species that wishes to leave and govern themselves independently may also do so without fear of retaliation. The announcement sent shockwaves through the Empire. On subject worlds, people celebrated in the streets. On Krillos, in the core Krillian worlds, reactions were mixed. Some saw it as surrender and shame. Others saw it as survival and wisdom. Furthermore, Mara continued, we will immediately cease all hostile actions against emerging civilizations. No more preemptive strikes. No more bombs sent to destroy potential threats. The humans have shown us that such actions create the very dangers we seek to avoid. She looked directly into the camera. This is not surrender. This is evolution. We are choosing to build security through partnership rather than fear. The humans have offered to share some of their advanced technology with us and to guarantee our borders during this transition. In exchange, we must prove that we can coexist peacefully with other species. When the broadcast ended, Captain Sarah Chen and her team met with the Krillian leadership to finalize the details. The process would take years, but the framework was established. The first issue is the subjugated species, Ambassador Zhao said, reviewing his notes. We estimate that at least 15 species will immediately declare independence. We will not stop them, Counselor Mara confirmed. But what about species that wish to remain? Some have been part of the Empire for centuries. They may prefer stability over independence. That is their choice to make, Sarah replied. We are not here to force anyone to leave your coalition. We are simply ensuring that everyone has the choice. Over the next weeks, the transformation began. The first species to declare independence was the Tharxians, a people who had been conquered 500 years earlier. They had maintained their culture and identity despite centuries of Krillian rule. When they announced their intention to form their own government, the Krillians did not respond with force. Instead, they negotiated a peaceful separation. The humans provided the Tharxians with defensive technology, enough to protect themselves but not enough to threaten others. It was a delicate balance, one that Dr. Okonkwo spent many sleepless nights calculating. We cannot give everyone the same level of technology we have, he explained to Sarah. If we do, we risk creating an arms race across this entire region of space. Instead, we give them enough to defend themselves and encourage peaceful development. Like training wheels, Dr. Tanaka added, we give them what they need to stay safe while they learn to govern themselves and develop their own technology. More species followed the Tharxians. Some left peacefully, others were more hostile, demanding reparations for centuries of oppression. The humans mediated these disputes, using their position of power to ensure negotiations remained fair. Admiral Zane struggled with the new reality. He had spent his entire career building the Krillian military into the most powerful force in the region. Now he was being asked to reduce that military and repurpose it for defense rather than conquest. "This feels like defeat," he admitted to Commander Rodriguez during one of their meetings. The two military officers had developed a grudging respect for each other. "It is defeat," Rodriguez replied honestly. "You lost. But you lost to someone willing to offer you a path forward. That is better than being destroyed, which was the alternative." "I know," Zane said bitterly. "I have seen your numbers. I have reviewed your simulations. If we had fought, we would have lost everything. This way, we lose only our empire, but keep our people." "Not just keep your people," Rodriguez corrected. "Improve their lives. The technology we are sharing will advance Krillian society by decades. Your people will live longer, healthier, more prosperous lives. That is not defeat, that is transformation." Zane looked at her with tired eyes. "Easy to say when you won." Rodriguez smiled slightly. "We almost didn't win. If your bomb had worked, Earth would be dead right now. We would all be dead. You came within hours of killing 7 billion humans. We stopped you by luck and determination. Then we chose not to do to you what you tried to do to us. Remember that when you feel bitter about losing your empire." 6 months after the humans arrived, the first coalition assembly was held. Representatives from 23 species gathered on Krylos. Some were former Krillian subjects who chose to stay in the coalition. Others were independent species who wanted to establish diplomatic relations. And there were humans, now recognized as the most advanced civilization in the region. Captain Sarah Chen addressed the assembly. "We stand at the beginning of something new. For thousands of years, this region of space was dominated by the Krillian Empire. They maintained order through fear and force. That era is over." She looked around at the diverse species represented in the room. Some were humanoid, others were completely alien, but all of them were here by choice. The Coalition of Open Stars is founded on different principles. Each species governs itself. Each civilization develops at its own pace. We share technology and knowledge freely. We resolve disputes through negotiation, not violence. And most importantly, we judge new civilizations by their actions, not by our fears. Counselor Mara spoke next. It was difficult for her to admit what the Krillians had done, but she did it anyway. "My people committed terrible crimes. We destroyed 23 emerging civilizations because we feared they might threaten us someday. We cannot undo those actions. Those species are gone forever because of our choices." Her voice grew stronger. "But we can ensure it never happens again. The Krillian people accept responsibility for our actions. We accept the consequences. And we commit to building a better future, one where fear does not guide our decisions." The assembly established basic rules for the coalition. No species could attack another without facing unified response. Technology would be shared carefully, with consideration for each civilization's development level. Disputes would be mediated by neutral parties, and most importantly, emerging civilizations would be welcomed and protected, not destroyed. Dr. Okonkwo presented the scientific framework for technology sharing. "We cannot simply give everyone everything we have developed. That would be irresponsible and potentially dangerous. Instead, we will establish a system where technology is shared based on demonstrated need and capability." He showed examples. A species struggling with food production receives agricultural technology. A species facing an environmental crisis receives clean energy systems. A species threatened by hostile neighbors receives defensive capabilities. We give what is needed, when it is needed, in ways that promote peace and development. Back on Earth, the mission was celebrated as a historic success. Humanity had made first contact, survived an attack, and established themselves as a major power in their region of space. More importantly, they had done it without becoming the very thing they fought against. But Sarah knew the work was just beginning. The coalition was fragile. Old rivalries still existed. Some species still distrusted the Krillians. Others were jealous of human technology. And somewhere out there, other civilizations were watching and learning. "Do you think it will last?" Dr. Tanaka asked Sarah as they prepared to return to Earth. "I think it has a chance," Sarah replied. "We changed the fundamental equation. Instead of destroy or be destroyed, we showed that cooperation is possible. That is enough to start with." 3 years after the olive branch arrived at Krillos, the coalition had grown to include 47 species. The Krillian military had been reduced by 60%, with former warships converted to cargo vessels and exploration craft. Admiral Zane, to his own surprise, had become one of the coalition's strongest advocates after seeing how much his people benefited from peace. New species continued to be discovered. When the coalition detected radio signals from a distant system, they did not send bombs. They sent peaceful probes with messages of greeting. When those species were ready, they would be welcomed into the galaxy, not as threats to be eliminated, but as neighbors to be embraced. The humans continued developing their technology, always staying ahead, but never so far ahead that others could not catch up. They established research partnerships with dozens of species, learning as much as they taught. The galaxy was full of different perspectives and approaches to problems. Together, they achieved breakthroughs that no single species could have managed alone. One day, Ambassador Zhao received a message from a previously unknown species in a distant part of the galaxy. They had heard about the coalition and the principles it represented. They had also heard about what happened when the Krillians tried to destroy Earth. "We face a similar situation," the message said. "There is an empire in our region that destroys emerging civilizations. We have seen their weapons approaching our system. Can you help us?" Zhao brought the message to the coalition assembly. The debate was intense. Some argued that this was too far away, beyond their ability to help. Others insisted that if the coalition stood for anything, it had to stand for protecting species from the same fate that almost befell Earth. In the end, the vote was unanimous. The coalition would help. A fleet was assembled, not a military invasion force, but a defensive fleet with ships from 15 different species. Humans provided the most advanced vessels. Krillians contributed heavy cruisers. The Tharxians sent fast interceptor craft. Every member of the coalition contributed something. Captain Sarah Chen, promoted to admiral, commanded the fleet. Beside her on the bridge was Admiral Zane, now representing the Krillian people in the coalition's joint military command. "Who would have thought we would be working together like this?" Zane asked as the fleet prepared to jump. Sarah smiled. "Someone tried to kill us. We returned the favor by teaching them a better way. Now we are teaching that lesson to the galaxy. That is what happens when you send Earth a bomb. We return it, upgraded and deadly. But we also return with an offer of peace. The choice is always theirs." The fleet jumped into the distant system, ready to face a new threat and protect a new species. Behind them, the coalition continued to grow and prosper. Species that had once lived in fear of the Krillians now worked alongside them. Technologies that had been hoarded were now shared freely. Wars that would have happened were prevented through negotiation. The bomb that was sent to destroy Earth had indeed returned, upgraded and deadly. But it had returned as something more than a weapon. It had returned as proof that there was another way. That strength could be used to protect rather than destroy. That fear could be transformed into hope. And across the galaxy, other civilizations watched and learned. Some still clung to the old ways of conquest and destruction, but more and more chose the path that humanity had shown. Judge others by their actions, not by fear. Build bridges, not bombs. Create partners, not enemies. The age of preemptive genocide was ending. A new age was beginning, built on the simple recognition that the species you try to destroy today might become your greatest ally tomorrow. All it took was one civilization willing to break the cycle. One species willing to respond to attempted murder with an offer of peace. Earth had been that species, and the bombs sent to destroy them had become the catalyst for the most profound change their region of the galaxy had ever seen. In the end, the Krillians had been right about one thing. Earth was a threat to their empire, just not the kind of threat they imagined. Earth did not destroy the Krillian Empire with weapons. They destroyed it with something far more powerful. They showed everyone a better way to live. And that, more than any bomb, was truly deadly to empires built on fear.